Okay, I feel like we definitely need to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. We know how good he is on the ball. We know how creative he can be. We know how good he can be picking up positions in the midfield, out wide. He just has the ability to really drift all over the pitch. But something which hasn't been picked up on, and a lot of people always criticize it, is his defending. His 1v1 defending, his strength in the duels. All of this sort of stuff is always criticized when it comes to him. But I feel like this season, he's probably been up there with the top 3 best defensive right backs in the league. And that is something, to say that about Trent, somebody who normally struggles and doesn't really deal with situations 1v1. It shows how big of a step he has made under Arne Slot. And I feel like under Klopp as well last season, he was slowly improving. But I feel like this season, we probably can see his, his strength in those 1v1 situations. And he just looks a lot more fitter. And a lot of people, with Trent, like to talk about him being, awful defensively. People like to, slate him so many times. But let's talk about him in a good way, because I feel like he's been really strong in those duels. And I think the game which kind of opened it up for me is the Rashford game at Old Trafford. And if you guys follow Liverpool, I know a lot of you are Liverpool fans who watch these videos, but you'll know Trent always refers to, the Marcus Rashford game back, I think it was in 2019 for Liverpool, as the game which woke him up. He was really struggling 1v1 against Rashford, getting torn apart. It was just a complete mismatch. But now we fast forward about 5 years later, I'm seeing Trent, go physically 1v1 against Rashford, looking quick up against Rashford, shifting his body quickly, moving his body in a way where Rashford can't even get to the ball. Rashford really did struggle against Trent Alexander-Arnold. And we haven't been able to say that for a lot of wingers in football, but really this season, I feel like Trent is really locking down players. Of course, there's certain games where Trent lets players get away from him, maybe isn't that strong in those duels, but there's such a rarity at the minute. I don't know if there's a better protection in front of him, whether Salah is probably doubling up a bit more, or whether, Gravenberch is shifting over to that area of the pitch. But, regardless of all of that, physically against the other wingers, 1v1, Trent has looked pretty good. And that is a big thing to say about him. And I'm sure, Liverpool's chances at winning the Premier League definitely does lie on that defence. How long can that defence stay strong? At the minute, they've only conceded 2 goals in 7. Should certainly be 1 goal in 7, to be honest. That game against Forest, to be honest, that goal they conceded, it wasn't really a goal that Liverpool are used to conceding. Alisson very rarely, sort of gets long shots past him. He's so good from distance. It's almost at a point where, if you shoot from long range against Alisson, you might as well just, expect it not to go in. But yeah, Trent for me has been really solid 1v1. I looked at the game, against Crystal Palace, 4 out of 5 duels won. Where have we ever looked at a game with Trent Alexander-Arnold where he's won 4 out of 5
She made the
duels, or even
opening goal.
2 out of 5 of his duels?
It's withdrawn.
Very rare, but this season it's become a big factor of his game. And of course, he's still having that attacking threat too. So we're just getting the best
again, their return to the Champions League with a win. Arne Slot's first game in charge in this competition with the club. A victory, a happy birthday for him.
Real Madrid just got injured, and Real Madrid have this long-standing interest in Trent. So it'll be a massive shame, if Trent was signed by Real Madrid mid-season, or even next season where his contract, runs out, because I know Liverpool has kind of currently reached a sort of impasse with Trent Alexander-Arnold in regards to his contract. So let's just hope that gets sorted out, because he's such a gifted footballer. Even if you are a rival fan, seeing these quality English players leave the division is never a great sign. But, I'm sure Trent, a Liverpool boy, a Liverpool fan, and developing under Arne Slot, who seems to show Liverpool players and the fans that he can win stuff at the club. Hopefully we do see Trent stay and keep on showing that defensive masterclass, along with his world-class on-the-ball ability that we all know he has.